Tonari Animation is officially ceasing operation just after 4 years of its animation studio opening, and here's some of the list of accomplishments that's managed to achieve in just 4 years. Tonari Animation and the CEO have had numerous controversies, including a self-produced NFT anime supporting the use of AI creativity along with the selling of NFTs, starting a GoFundMe for an anime know-how book just to cancel it and turn it into a wiki on fandom, advertising for a production assistant position with a lowball salary, saying production assistants should not hire foreign animators despite the CEO being a foreigner, harassing an animator online using alt accounts, and even seeming to owe the IRS $200,000 in taxes. On top of that, one of the recent controversies is that the CEO has also criticized Studio Baburi, hopefully I'm not mispronouncing that, for a heartfelt post basically saying they wanted to improve the work conditions at the studio and make the actual industry a better place for animators to be able to have a better workplace. The CEO of Tonari Animation basically said, "Learn reality." It has now since been a deleted post. You click on it, and basically when you go to the post, you scroll down, and you click on the link to the actual post, you find out that the post is deleted. Makes sense, trying to cover their tracks, they don't want that out there because it doesn't necessarily look good, especially when you have this type of controversies under your belt. So let's get right into this. I think at this point, judging by just this list of controversies, it makes a lot of sense why this studio, Tonari Animation, is closing its doors, why it's potentially going bankrupt or shutting down, but there is some interesting things to really note from this whole thing. For one, I wasn't really thinking about making this video until I had the CEO himself contact me and basically accuse me of saying that this post here and what was being said here was from my alt/burner account. And I'm thinking to myself, like, I browse Reddit. I don't use Reddit at all. I don't. I just literally browse Reddit here and there. And the fact that the CEO went into my DMs and started to accuse me of alt/burner accounts and posting stuff like this, I'm like, I think the credibility of harassing animators is starting to get a little bit more credibility. All I'm going to say. Anyways, with that being stated, what I will say is that, this studio has had a lot of shady things that's happened to it. There is a lot of people that has called this out, but one thing let's talk about is the pay. And I think this is a big one that really needs to be mentioned. Let's get into that. So basically, they tried to lowball a salary for a assistant or a production assistant position, okay? And if we go into the original post, they were starting paying at 150 to 250,000 yen per month. Now, for those that don't know how much yen is a month, let me do some conversion here. So basically, if you go here and you ask what is 200,000 yen in US dollars, that is $1,279 a month. Now, let's put this at the actual far rate, the highest rate that they advertised, which is $250. That is $1,599 a month that they are asking or saying they will pay you as a assistant or production assistant. That is so low. In fact, let me put this in perspective, okay? Let me really put this in perspective. $1,599 a month is very low. That is minimum wage pay. That is basically... That's insane, especially for someone that has to go to schooling and learn a lot, dedicate a lot of time and money to learn to become a production assistant and learn animation stuff. The fact that they're getting paid basically the same amount as a minimum wage employee is actually ridiculous. But it's very apparent that, let's be honest, this high rate, 250,000, is not exactly what Tonari was going to pay. They were probably going to do the lowest, which is probably 150. So if we change the numbers here and we put to 150, that means that every month they would be making about $959. This is obviously, I'm assuming, not including taxes and stuff or insurance or whatever. So it's going to be a lot lower than that. So the fact that they were going to be giving a production assistant only $950 a month, okay, not even $1,000, is wild. That is such a low ball pay. That's insane. But obviously, there's a lot more controversies than just the pay. We also got to get into this. So, apparently, just recently, they were advertising Japanese animation techniques in classes that you could start participating in, and basically, if you actually start participating in this, you will have to pay a $1,000 tuition fee to be able to participate. Now, I want to remind everybody, this came out recently. This is apparently these classes are going to be starting, in March, and registration opens on January 21st of this month. FYI, today is the 18th of January, and they are announcing that they're ceasing operations, but this is still up. Basically, they are still taking money from people and wanting to basically have you pay them $1,000 to a tuition fee to be able to learn these techniques and stuff for 10 weeks this upcoming March. But they're closing doors, and clearly they've had no success whatsoever, and they're managed very poorly to the point that apparently they have $200,000 in debt for the IRS. Why would anyone want to sign up for this? But the fact that they still have this up and they are advertising it and stuff is astronomically wild. It feels like a scam. I'm not saying it is, but it feels like it. It might be a scam. Not saying it's a scam, but it feels like it, okay? All I'm saying is that you even have actual animators in the industry, like Jamie Mole here, even commenting on this. Definitely a well-known animator, maybe not extremely popular or very well-known, but they know their stuff or what they're talking about. And when you see stuff like this and they're mentioning stuff like this, it's very clear that people that know how about animation and the prices and stuff, very clear this is not good. This is very bad. So we have basically low pay, potential scam of people, scamming people out of their money, but we also need to get into the actual crowdfunding, or the GoFundMe that they had a while back. So if we go here to the GoFundMe, it links to this image thing that takes images from the CEO himself. This is, actually the individual that contacted me, accusing me of an alt burner account, by the way. But they basically went on to say they wanted to open up a anime survival kit. And when you read this post, if you know nothing about the situation, it seems very innocent. They're wanting to spread information, they're wanting to help people out, learn art techniques and stuff. That seems fine. But then it's found out that basically it was a failure. They talk about how, it didn't do as well as they hoped and all that. Like, for instance, they say, they wished more people signed up for it. It was a failure, and so they closed it. And so they turned around and they made a sakugafandom.com page just to be able to host this. But the thing is in an email the exact same day, you can cross-check the dates here, you can basically see on December 25th, 2022, and this is an email, and the email to people that actually donated, they say it was an overwhelming success, or they said it was a success, not overwhelming, they said it was a success, and donations are now closed, and then they basically say, we'll give you a PDF file, but they basically put everything up on a wiki page for free, and it feels like such a slap to a face to people that have obviously donated. What makes this even more astronomically insane was that this GoFundMe had a starting price of $100K, which then, after a lot of callouts from people within the industry, this individual lowered it down to $50K, and I believe lowered it down even more. I don't have a picture of proof for that one, but obviously the point of the matter is that it's very clear that this company and the CEO in general has had a lot of scummy ways to go about and try to collect money. Now, once again, this is just the stuff I have seen, and I have gotten all from this Reddit post. I'm just going from what I have seen. If the CEO can confirm and clarify with actual proper evidence on things without just word of mouth, then I do think that, there will be some argument to refute these claims. But judging by their conduct and stuff online, of how they've literally said learn reality and stuff to literally a creator at Studio, Biburi, it's very clear that the CEO is not a nice person, so to speak, at least from my first initial impressions. Especially calling me out and saying I have an alt burner account and I'm the one that posted this. I mean, it's like, I just found out about this. Anyways, getting back into the stuff, we also have, basically, this is the apparent information that came from the $200K in debt or whatever for the IRS. So, I don't really know much about, this type of stuff, so I can't really dive too deep into this one, but this is apparently some of that information. On top of that, apparently, the CEO and the people that work at Tonari Animation is shifting to Creative Freaks, which, aka, this is, the next new company, and if you read into this, apparently they specialize in art backgrounds, and I want to point out the NFT anime and the AI stuff. So, the actual CEO, that, this is him, by the way, this is the CEO, he talks about how AI can be used to make backgrounds and stuff, and help the process, and I'll talk about that in just a second, but it's interesting he points out that he wants to use AI to make backgrounds and stuff, and this new studio apparently is going to be specializing in background art production. You mean AI art background production. That's what it seems like. Anyways, back into the main topic, the usage of AI. So the actual CEO, to give him some credit here, and I will give him some positives, the CEO has basically said that he doesn't want to steal from other creators and use AI to steal artwork and stuff. Okay, that's good. That completely gets around some of the issues that people have with AI. There's nothing wrong with that. I'll give credit where credit is due. You know, he doesn't want to steal people's artwork. He does say, however, that internally, like for instance at Tonari Animation, that, you know, since they have so much portfolio of work, let's say Dragon Ball, Sailor Moon, and stuff like that, they can use AI to replicate that art style and use it with AI generation and stuff, which makes sense. It's because it is artwork that is owned by Tonari Animation, so they should be able to theoretically do that. However, the big problem that, you know, arises to the situation is that it leads to people's jobs being cut and lost, which, once again, it's very clear the company has a history of wanting to lowball pay and stuff, and then incorporating AI tactics into that. It seems like they just want to pay as little as possible and not really have as many animators as possible, even though they're trying to act like they are for animators and wanting to make their life a better place. It feels very counterproductive, at least on like the way I see it when I read these articles that Anime News Network has obviously commented on. You can see it right here with the title, the date stamps, and stuff like that. So, to make a long story short, this animation studio has a long history of toxicity, okay? It tries to paint a picture that it's trying to help people, but it's very clear that it has not. Now, if the CEO could provide evidence and information to back these claims that apparently say this isn't real, this is unlegit and stuff, then I will definitely listen. But for now, with all this stuff stacked up on the table, and it's a lot of information stacked up and a lot of paper trail, it's very clear that most likely, even if not all of it's true, probably 70% of everything against Tonari Animation and the problems is most likely factual, which is crazy. So, with that being said, yeah, Animation Studio shutting down makes sense when you factor in all that, but I'll leave it at that. May all of you have a blessed day or night wherever you live. Be safe, stay healthy. Chibi out.